Assalamu alaikum, dear students. Last time we talked about the pre-operative management, per-operative management, and post-operative management, and then the pain management in a surgical patient. Now, a very important topic today is how we will manage the fluid electrolyte in a surgical patient post-operatively or perioperatively. So today's discussion would be about what are the body fluid compartments, and I will give you the concept of third spacing, and we'll talk about the common replacement fluids, and how can we calculate the fluid, and what is the electrolyte imbalance, and how they are clinically diagnosed. The main two major body fluid compartments are, you all know, intracellular and extracellular. And the extracellular compartment contain interstitial fluid plus intravascular fluid, plasma. Interstitial fluid is in between the cell, and intravascular fluid is inside the vessel, and they're mostly plasma. Normally, the percentage of body weight that has fluid, it's about 60%. So 60% of the body mass consists of fluid, and out of these are distributed into these two compartments. These are intracellular and extracellular. So intracellular is about 66% out of the 60% that we have. 66% are intracellular, and about 33% are extracellular. So 60% of the total body weight is fluid. Intracellular is about 40%, and extracellular is about 20%. So this is called 60-40-20 rule, or we can remember it by a formula called TIE, T-I-E. T mean total body fluid, that is about 60% of the body weight, and I stand for intracellular fluid, which is about 40% of body weight, and E stand for extracellular fluid, which is about 20% of the total body weight. On average, how much blood we contain? So the total body weight, out of total body, 7% is blood. So in a 70 kilogram weight man, the amount of blood would be, if we multiply 0.07 into 70, that would be about 5 liters. So 7% of the total body weight is blood, and in a 70 kilogram weight adult, that would be about 5 liters. So normally 24 hours में हमें कितना fluid चाहिए होता है? We require about 30 to 35 ml of water per kilogram body weight. We require some electrolytes. Main electrolytes are potassium, chloride, and sodium. So these three electrolytes, you must remember that these are the three electrolytes that are the basic electrolyte. One is intracellular, and the second one is extracellular. Potassium is intracellular and sodium is extracellular. So इन दोनों की जो लेवल होता है बॉडी में, वही आपका हीमोस्टेसिस मेंटेन करता है. सो पोटाशियम इज अबाउट, रिक्वायरमेंट ऑफ पोटाशियम इन एन एडल्ट इज अबाउट 1 मिली इक्विवेलेंट पर किलोग्राम. क्लोराइड इज 1.5 मिली इक्विवेलेंट पर किलोग्राम, एंड सोडियम इज अबाउट 1 to 2 मिली इक्विवेलेंट पर किलोग्राम. नॉर्मली हम किधर से लूज़ करते हैं अपना? हम लूज़ करते हैं थ्रू यूरिन, थ्रू स्वेट, एंड थ्रू रेस्पिरेटरी सिस्टम, and through feces. Through urine, we lose about 25 to 30 ml per kilogram. That is about 1.2 to 1.5 liter of urine is excreted in 24 hours in an adult, healthy adult. Through sweat, we lose about 200 to 400 ml, and through respiration, we lose about 500 to 700 ml, and through feces, we lose about 100 to 200 ml. So urine is visible, whereas the rest of the losses that are called insensible losses like sweat, respiratory losses, and physical losses. So whenever we are calculating the total fluid, we must calculate what are the losses. Then the concept of third space. अब इन दोनों स्पेसिस के अलावा फ्लूइड कहीं होगा तो थर्ड स्पेस पे फ्लूइड होगा. तो दैट इज, so if it is not intracellular or it is not extracellular, then it is in the interstitium. So this is called third space. Like in edema, we lose fluid into the interstitium, or in a surgical patient, we have operated on the patient and the patient has went into ileus, then there would be accumulation of fluid in the intestines. So due to paralytic ileus, that would be called third space loss of the fluid. So this third space fluid is very important post-operative. Third space fluid tend to mobilize back into the intravascular space. अब पहले ये थर्ड स्पेस लॉस हुआ है, आइलियस थी, पेशेंट की इंटेस्टाइन मूव नहीं कर रही थी. So there would be lot of accumulation of fluid into the lumen of the intestine. So when we operate and post-operative on the third post-operative day, the fluid will move back into the intracellular space. So when we are dealing with a surgical patient, we must be aware of this phenomena. So this fluid will go back into the intravascular space. So at that time, we need to switch to the hypotonic fluid, or we need to switch to the we need to decrease the IV fluid rate. So what is hypotonic fluid and hypertonic fluid? I'm going to explain it to you later on. सो ये जो फ्लूइड लॉस होता है हम कैसे कैलकुलेट करते हैं, यूजली हमें कैसे क्लिनिकली कैसे विजिबल होता है. यूजली जो फर्स्ट साइन जो आता है फ्लूइड लॉस का वो टैकीकार्डिया होता है, एंड सेकंड वन इज़ डिक्रीज. ये दो ऐसे साइन हैं जो कि बहुत सेंसिटिव हैं और बहुत एक्यूरेट हैं. सो whenever you see tachycardia and you see decreased urine output, you must rehydrate the patient with isotonic fluid, and that will be corrected. So when we have this electrolyte balance, what happens? Either patient will have metabolic acidosis, alkalosis, respiratory acidosis or alkalosis. So when will we have metabolic acidosis? Naturally जब बॉडी में एसिड जो है वो रिटेन होने शुरू हो जाएगा. So it will be when we lose bicarbonates, like in diarrhea, like in ileus, like in fistula, like in high output ileostomy, or we have carbonic anhydrase inhibitors, or there would be increase in the acid, like in lactic acidosis, when we have ischemia in any part of the gastrointestinal tract, or we have tissue necrosis, so there would be a lot of acid that will be produced, or we have ketoacidosis, or we have renal failure, so we start retaining the acid. So here the patient will present with the metabolic acidosis. And in metabolic alkalosis, when we start losing it, vomiting, nasogastric suction, if we have done it for long, so we are losing acid. We have given diuretics, so we lose potassium with that. We have ingested alkalis, or we are using mineralocorticoid in excess. So this would be metabolic acidosis and alkalosis. Then I will tell you how that can be corrected. Then there will be respiratory acidosis. Respiratory acidosis होगा जब आप हाइपोवेंटिलेट कर रहे हैं. हाइपोवेंटिलेट करेंगे तो रिटेंशन होगी, ठीक है. and you would be unable to secrete the acid. So कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड आप सक्रीट करते हैं, अगर रिटेन होनी शुरू हो जाएगी तो रेस्पिरेटरी एसिडिटीज़ होगा। ये यूजुअली पोस्ट ऑपरेटिव पीरियड में पेशेंट जो है पोस्ट ऑपरेटिव पेन अगर होती है उसको प्रॉपर वेंटिलेट नहीं कर रहा, आपने उसको नार्कोटिक एनाल्जेसिक दिया लाइक मॉर्फिन दी हुई है, आर पेशेंट हैव प्लूरल फिजन, आर पेशेंट हैव फेरेनकाइमल लंग डिजीज़, आर पेशेंट हैव एक्यूट रेस्पिरेटरी ऑब्स्ट्रक्शन, तो दे विल स्टार्ट रिटेनिंग acid. Opposite to that, when patients start hyperventilating usually post-operative anxiety बहुत होती है, पेशेंट को पेन हो सकती है, फीवर हो सकता है, वेंटिलेटर की सेटिंग आपने ठीक नहीं की, पेशेंट हाइपर वेंटिलेट कर रहा है, तो दे आर लूजिंग लॉट ऑफ एसिड कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड, तो देन द पेशेंट विल हैव रेस्पिरेटरी एल्कलोसिस। तो कैसे हम असेस करेंगे इसको? हम यूरिन आउटपुट देखेंगे पेशेंट का, पेशेंट के बेस डेफिसिट देखेंगे, वी विल सी द लैक्टिक एसिड, वी विल सी द वाइटल साइंस, वी विल सी द वेट चेंजेस इन पेशेंट. Skin turgidity is a very important sign to see the hydration. Central venous pressure will tell us about the hydration. The mucosal membrane will tell us whether the patient is wet or dry. And if you auscultate the chest, you would find fine crackles. It means patient is not ventilating properly. And chest X-ray can be done to see that. So these are the clinical condition that will happen when we have disturbances of electrolytes. So they will either present as metabolic alkalosis, acidosis, respiratory alkalosis, respiratory acidosis. So in a surgical patient, we must be aware of that. And then I told you before that, there are certain insensible losses, like we lose in fluid in feces, 100 to 200 ml, or we lose in respiration, breathing about 500 to 700 ml. Then we lose through the skin for about 300 ml to 500 ml, depending upon the condition of the patient. Like if the patient has fever, so they might lose more fluid. नॉर्मली जो सिक्रीशन होती है बॉडी की, जो सिक्रीट करता है सलाइवा अबाउट 1.5 लीटर in 24 hours, gastric acid is about 2 liter per 24 hours, bile is about 1 liter 24 hours, small intestine about 3 liter per 24 hours, pancreatic juice are produced about 600 ml. So all these needs to be seen that they are the insensible losses. We need to calculate that as well. And in addition to that, what the patient is losing through his disease, आइलियस हुआ हुआ है, उसको डायरिया हुआ है, नेजोगैस्ट्रिक एस्पिरेशन कर रहे हैं, वॉमिटिंग हो रही है पेशेंट को, फीवर हुआ हुआ है पेशेंट को. सो वी नीड टू लुक इनटू दैट. So these condition has to be dealt with fluid. So what are the common replacement fluid? There are two types of fluid. One is crystallite and the second is colloid. So crystallite क्या है? Crystallite basically they are electrolyte fluid. They are clear fluid. They are made of water and electrolytes. And they cross the छोटे particle होते हैं, they cross the semi-permeable membrane, and they are grouped as isotonic, hypertonic or hypotonic. Like normal saline है, dextrose water है, half normal saline है, ringer lactate है, ये सारे जो हैं ये crystallites हैं. Then is the colloids. So colloids is a solution which have bigger particles, and they do not readily cross the semi-permeable membrane and such as capillary membrane. So thus the volume infused stays initially almost entirely within the intravascular space. So whereas the crystallite they stay for a very short, और अगर आप इसमें इतना है कि अगर आप 1 लीटर क्रिस्टलाइज सोल्यूशन देते हैं, तो दैट विल स्टे only 25% of them will stay in the intravascular compartment and rest will go into the extracellular space. Whereas colloid, they stay for a longer period of time inside the intravascular compartment. However, they leak out of the intravascular space when the capillary permeability significantly changes. That is, if the patient has severe trauma or the patient is in sepsis. So because of their gelatinous properties, they cause platelet dysfunction and interfere with fibrinolysis and coagulation factor like factor 8. Thus they can cause significant coagulopathy in large volume. Naturally, colloid जो है वो एल्ब्यूमिन की फॉर्म में होता है, डेक्स्ट्रॉन इज अनदर फॉर्म एंड जेलाटिन इज अनदर फॉर्म विच आर आर्टिफिशियली मेड. सो रिकमेंडेशन क्या है कोलाइड वर्सेस क्रिस्टलाइड की? कोलाइड शुड नॉट बी यूज्ड एज द सोल फ्लूइड रिप्लेसमेंट इन रिससिटेशन. Volume infused should be limited because of side effect and lack of evidence for their continued use in the acutely ill patient. In severely ill patient, principally use crystallide and blood products. So that is the ideal. So अगर एक critically ill patient आया है तो उसमें हमें बड़े केयरफुली बड़े शॉर्ट पीरियड के लिए आप कोलाइड दे सकते हैं till blood and blood products are arranged. So combination आप देंगे क्रिस्टलाइड का और ब्लड प्रोडक्ट का. जो कोलाइड है वो बड़े शॉर्ट पीरियड के लिए यूज़ करते हैं बिकॉज इट लीड्स टू कोएगुलोपैथी. और अगर पेशेंट एक ब्लीडिंग के साथ आया है और क्रिटिकली इल है, इज लूजिंग ब्लड एंड यू आर इन्फ्यूजिंग हिम विद कोलाइड्स, सो आगे ही उसकी कोएगुलोपैथी हो जाएगी और उसके बाद जो है वो आप जो है और उसको कोलाइड दे रहे हैं तो और डेल्यूशनल हो जाएगा. तो कोलाइड जो है अपने तौर पे भी आपकी कोएगुलोपैथी काज करेंगे. सो द रिकमेंडेशन इज़ दैट वी व्हेन एवर पॉसिबल आप ब्लड और ब्लड प्रोडक्ट यूज़ करेंगे अलॉन्ग विद क्रिस्टलाइड. सो और जो सर्जिकल पेशेंट है उसमें हम जो रिप्लेस करेंगे फ्लूइड विद फिजियोलॉजिकल रिंगर लैक्टेट, बिकॉज रिंगर लैक्टेट में जो सोडियम और पोटाशियम है वो वही है जो कि आपके इंटरसेलुलर एक्स्ट्रासेलुलर कंपार्टमेंट में है. सो रिंगर लैक्टेट इज़ द मोस्ट फिजियोलॉजिकल फ्लूइड दैट वी नीड टू रिप्लेस इन a patient who acutely required intravascular volume correction.